Hey everybody, it's Flyin Ryan here with the review of the JXD389 Flying Car. You may have seen my on-the-fly review where I just took it out for a flight and reviewed it as I flew it. This will be my more detailed review, and if you saw that review, you'll know that I was actually a pretty big fan of this. It is a car and a quadcopter, and you can flip between modes from the transmitter. The car is fairly simple. It's just, no proportional steering and no shocks or anything. So, not overly, maneuverable or, off-road or anything like that for the car. It's better just on, nice, flat surfaces. But the quadcopter is actually really impressive. It flies really, really well. It's got a good 6-axis stabilization. It's got 3 rates of pitch control, and it's got 1 yaw rate throughout the 3 different pitch rates. But the yaw rate's pretty good, so it can turn fast and fly indoors. It can do cyclones and stuff like that, or funnels or whatever they're called. It flips really, really fast and tight. Really good flips on it for being. It's got some weight to it with the car body, so pretty impressive how well it flips. The transmitter is pretty decent. It's got a backlit display on it, so that's kind of cool. You can kind of see, let's see if I can get that to focus in there. You got the car, or then you can flip and it shows the quad, so that's kind of cool. However, it does lose your trim settings every time you turn it off, so that's a little bit inconvenient. But again, you switch between car and quad with this button. And then you've got the flip button up here. You press and hold it, and then whichever way you give on the right stick, it'll flip. And then you've got your 3 different rates. It does come with a full set of spare props, a screwdriver to change them, and a USB charging cable. It's got a 500 milliamp hour battery that takes about 2 hours to charge. But it'll give you 6 to 7 minute flight times. Of course, it's going to vary if you drive the car. But just simply flying, you should get about 6 to 7 minutes of flight time. The battery has a little hatch here, so you've actually got an on-off switch, so you can turn it on and off. But you do have access to the battery, and it does, unplug, so you can swap the battery out easily if you want to, and you've got to unplug it and plug it into the charger. The charger doesn't plug into the vehicle anywhere. And then it has LEDs for like the brake lights and the headlights. Let's just get this battery out of here. So the LEDs on the front headlights and on the rear brake lights, red in the back, white in the front, but there's no LEDs on the motor pods or anything. So it can be a little bit tricky to see when you're flying, and probably not good enough for night flying. It's just better for orientation during the day. I wouldn't suggest flying it at night with the LEDs that it has. Let's see. Oh, I thought maybe it would be a little bit fragile. I haven't really proven that or not. Just kind of looking at the construction, it looks like it could be a little fragile and probably wouldn't take being crashed very well. The frame is pretty rigid and doesn't really have any sort of like give points or anything. So you're going to want to be careful with this one. But otherwise, it's pretty cool. I like the look of it. It flies great. It drives decently enough to make it fun to just kind of drive around a little bit and then just transition to flight and take off. So yeah, that's about it. So let's go fly it around the kitchen for a bit. Alright, this is the indoor flight review of the JXD389 Flying Car. One thing I forgot to mention in the review, which is a pretty major issue I've been dealing with, is indoors, this thing constantly falls out of the sky for me. It's like, I don't know if it loses connection, but I've tried like unplugging my Wi-Fi, my phone, everything that I could think would cause a 2.4 gigahertz interference, and it still happens. And so I think it may be overheating, because when it happens, I can't reconnect to it for a while, and if I put it like in the fridge and let it cool down for a second, then I can reconnect and fly it for a while. So I think something internally is overheating and throwing some sort of safety system which shuts it down. But you know, if you saw my on the fly review, I flew it around outside for several minutes and it never happened. So maybe, you know, outdoors flying fast enough it's getting enough air current, but indoors when I'm trying to hover it and, you know, not giving much fast flight, it seems to overheat. So I don't know if that's mine or that's a problem with this model in general or what. So we'll see how long I can actually get it to work without cutting out on me. So to start, we'll put it on the ground and drive a little bit. And it starts in car mode, so you just use the right stick to drive around. And the dual rates button actually does apply to how fast the car goes. So there's 100%. So, you know, pretty quick little car. It's got a decent turning radius on it, and it can actually kind of drive on that carpet there a little bit. So, you know, not bad as a car, but that's definitely not its main feature. So let's go ahead and press the fly button, and now we're in quad mode. And let's do a flip while I can. So really nice flips on this thing. Just very fast and stable, quick to recover. It's a little bit noisy, but let's trim it out a little bit. Alright. But it's just really nice flying claws. Good. Oh, there it goes. See, I lost the signal. And now the lights are blinking. So I don't really know what's happening there. Let's see if I try to turn it off. Turn it back on. Nope, see, it won't bind again. Now the lights are blinking really fast, like some sort of error warning. And, you know, it happens just after a couple minutes, like it just gets a little too hot. So it's been really annoying. I haven't been able to give a complete flight indoors without this happening once. Yeah, see, it won't bind now. So, I don't know, I mean, it worked fine outside, not so good indoors. So if anybody else has one of these, I'd be curious to see if you've seen this problem as well. But anyway, that was a good enough flight video. And, you know, if you didn't see my other outdoor flight video, definitely go check that out because this thing flies pretty well when it flies. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you aren't already, and I'll see you next time.